Drama Llamas! Today we're going to be talking about an introduction to theatrical lighting. Let's get started, shall we? Before we get started, I'm going to give you a couple of terms to kind of help you better understand some things about lighting. So number one is uplight. This is a light that comes from underneath a performer, either from footlights or through grate or plexiglass on the stage floor. So the light is coming up at someone. 2, focusing. Focusing is the process of pointing the lighting instruments where the director wants them. 3, footlights. Footlights are a row of low wattage lamps provided general illumination and usually circuited in several colors. This is the lights that are downstage front that light up. They can be uplights as well. Number 4, work lights. Work lights are lights used solely for illuminating the stage when it is not being watched by an audience, as at rehearsals and when scenery is being shifted or built. Alright, so there's some basic lighting terms. Let's get started. First, we're going to talk about the controllable qualities of light. The controllable qualities of light are distribution, intensity, movement, and color. Distribution. This term includes several elements, including the direction of light, the size and shape of an area it's covered. 3, the quality of light, diffused or clarity. You can see in this picture we have 5 different circles of light. The light is distributed in 5 different places. You also can see that they are in the shape of a circle and that it is pretty clear. The lights are clearly there. That's what we mean by distribution. Next, intensity. This is the amount of light on stage, how bright it is. There can be total darkness to plain bright white light. You can see in this picture of these two people, you see that they are in one shot have less intensity of light, and then in the next shot, they have a much more higher intensity. It's brighter in one than the other. Next, we have movement. Movement is time duration of light cues. It's also the movement of onstage lights, lanterns, flashlights, etc. And 3, movement of offstage lights like follow spots and intelligent lights. Then we have color. Color affects the audience's understanding and reaction to things. You can use color to create mood, location, time. As you can see in these photos, you can see a lot of different colors used in this one show. If you think about it, color really affects how you feel. So like red may make you think of anger or heat, where blues may make you think of calm and cool. Next, let's talk about the function of stage lights. The function of stage lights is visibility, select focus, modeling, and mood. Visibility is the audience must see the show. The more light we have on something, the more likely we're going to pay attention to it. So you don't want something so darkly lit because for some reason people don't hear and understand things better when they can't see them. Select focus. Choosing where to focus the attention. When you use lights, you can have people look on one side of the stage and not pay attention to the other. So maybe like your actors could move off or your crew could move off a whole side of the stage if it's dark as opposed to when it's brightly lit. Modeling. This is the direction of light can change form and feeling. The way you model light on something can make you think different about it. Mood. Like sound is very subtle yet effective. You can use light to create the mood of the play. Now let's talk about some basic parts of a light. This is an ERS, ellipsoidal reflector spotlight. They are very common in a lot of theaters, and you'll be able to generally get the idea of what parts of the lamp there is. So first, at the very top, we have the lamp housing. That is where the actual bulb of this lamp would be. Then you see, going down, the next arrow is a C-clamp or pipe clamp. You see that it makes a C, like the letter C. A C lamp basically clings to a pipe, which means a bar that is hanging over the stage where we put lights. Attached to the C-clamp, next is the yoke. That's the thing that holds the C-clamp to the lighting fixture. Then you'll see a silver cable with like a carabiner on it. This is a safety cable. When you're working with lights, safety is key because they are very heavy, expensive, and can be dangerous. So we use safety cables on all lights to clamp to the bar, so in case something happens and the lighting instrument falls off the bar, it will still be connected through a safety cable. Next is a shutter handle. A shutter handle helps bring in the shape of a light. Then, of course, we have our power cable because lights are powered by electricity, so you've got to be able to plug it into something. And then you have your gel frame. Gel is a thin piece of colored plastic that you can put in front of certain lights to change the color of the light. Now, let's talk about some safety tips. So if you're working in light, these things are something that you really want to pay attention to, or you or others could end up in some very bad situations. Number 1, don't look directly into a light. These lights are very powerful on stage and can hurt your retina. Don't touch bulbs with ungloved hands. So stage lights have bulbs, most of them, not all of them, but the ones that do are very sensitive. If you touch them with a ungloved hand, the oils from your hand get on the bulb, and when it goes up, the light goes up on that bulb, it will crack and pop the bulb. Use gloves when working with a light that is on or hasn't cooled down. So these lights get very hot, which means if you touch it with your bare hand, you could end up with a serious burn. We suggest that you use gloves when handling and working on lighting equipment. 4, don't use or touch anything that you were not trained to use. This is for a lot of different tools, but especially in lighting. If you have not been trained on the board or how to hang a light or anything like that, don't do it. Just be honest and say, I don't know how to do that, so that you can get trained and be helpful. Because otherwise, you may do something wrong which may harm you, others, or the equipment. Always use safety cables on lights. Like I said earlier, safety cables are so important. You always clip the safety cable through the yoke and through the bar, and that way your light will be safe in case something happens and it falls. Always yell heads up when you drop something during hanging lights. If you are working on light crew and you are hanging a light, you always want to be careful, but accidents do happen, and if a light is going to fall or look like it's going to fall, or you're going to drop a tool from a height, then you need to call heads up. That way anyone in the theater will look up and look out for anything that may be falling. Alright guys, that has been my introduction to theatrical lighting. There is so much more about lighting that you can learn. Go online and check out many resources that I have in my playlist to help you with theatrical lighting. Alright, Drama Llamas, I'll see you next time. Bye!